To export fruit globally, technology is essential, and the Chilean cherry supply chain proves it. Reaching far-off markets and becoming a leader in the sector was possible with the use of increasingly smarter machines. Macfrut Academy is back to cover the supply chain again and focus on post-harvest. We'll follow cherries from start to finish. Our journey begins in the orchard and continues to the processing plant, where crates and bins are first emptied and the fruit is cooled. Then the cherries are processed in water, the leaves are removed and the pedicels are separated, reaching a key step of sorting where state-of-the-art technology comes into play. Sorters examine the cherries and choose them based on internal and external quality parameters, using non-destructive techniques. The cherries are then ready to be packaged, and we're going to learn more about the huge steps forward in automation. Lastly, our class will come to an end with an overview of palletization and shipping. Without further ado, let's get started. Resuming from where we left off in the orchard, harvested cherries are placed in crates or bins. Avoiding direct exposure to the sun is essential during this stage. This is key to prevent the temperature of the drupes from increasing. Once the cherries are brought to the processing plant, there are two priorities: managing the pedicel and lowering the temperature. Why is reducing the temperature of cherries important? Cherries have a high metabolic activity. What does metabolic activity mean? It means that the fruit is producing heat, that it's perishing, and that it's shortening post-harvest time. Once they are harvested, the technique we adopt is to reduce the metabolic activity as quickly as possible. Succeeding in doing this within 4 hours would be ideal. The sooner you do it, the better. We are currently installing hydrocoolers even in the fields, so that we can lower the temperature as soon as possible. Once the fruit is delivered to the plant, then we have to lower the temperature. The most efficient and fastest technique to do so is through water cooling or hydrocooling. The process is done by means of a machine called hydrocooler. It works by transferring the heat to water, which means that it is very efficient and does not lead to dehydration. So, being able to reduce the temperature of both the pedicel and the cherries is key. The temperature of the pedicel is the same as that of the water, so we need to keep it between 0 and 2 degrees and ensure it does not increase any further. The temperature of the cherries has to be reduced based on what our next steps are. If we pack them within 24 hours, it doesn't make sense to lower it to 2 degrees. And why? Because we're processing the cherries, so an intermediate temperature of 8 to 10 degrees is fine. However, if we're not able to pack them immediately, then this is a case where we have to lower the temperature, ideally to 2 degrees. An important task to be carried out in a processing plant is classifying the products that we received. This is a practice that is known as fruit grading. It is usually done before the fruit goes through the hydrocooler. It is an operation that has to be done quickly because the fruit cannot be left out for long, but it is important to do it before the cherries are cooled. This allows us to determine how firm they are, as well as the other quality parameters we talked about earlier, namely the soluble solids, the firmness, the acidity, and also the defects it has. These are fundamental to classify, as it helps to streamline the packaging process. Since the volumes in Chile are high and the grading must be done quickly, we have introduced machines to complete this task. Today, we're able to do this operation quickly for a substantial volume of fruit. And as I said, we classify color, size distribution and firmness. We are able to classify the latter by means of a non-destructive system that we have developed precisely for this purpose. This obviously also applies to soluble solids. Product categorization is one of the most important actions we take, both in terms of the defects and the potential that the cherries have. And what characteristics are we basing this on? You can guess it, as I mentioned it earlier. I'm talking about the firmness, which is essential. It is an important parameter that we consider when sorting our lots. And of course, the same goes for soluble solids. The whole range of defects simplifies the subsequent selection made by the machine. Now, once the cherries have been graded, they go through the hydrocooler, where they are cooled. Since we're using water, what is the risk we run? We risk that the water becomes contaminated because all the microorganisms in the fruit are put in solution. Paying attention to water quality is therefore fundamental. How can we do that? We have various types of disinfectants available. Out of these, the most common we use is chlorine, with its different formulations. We can use sodium hypochlorite and calcium hypochlorite, or we can introduce chlorine dioxide, which is more complex. Sodium hypochlorite or calcium hypochlorite are the most used. However, we must bear in mind that a large amount of organic matter is generated during this process, so we need good water filtration. Adding chlorine is not enough. We have to try to decrease the level of organic matter. What are the alternatives to chlorine that we have? We could use ozone. The problem is that ozone doesn't work well when the amount of organic matter is high. So it is very difficult to use ozone in hydrocoolers, because to maintain a certain level of free ozone, the pressure needs to be set at a very high level. However, doing this means that part of it remains in the atmosphere in the end, and this is not allowed when you cross a certain contamination threshold. So we're not left with many options. Another product that is used is peracetic acid. It is an excellent alternative because it can be combined and works very well with organic matter. It is independent of pH, but formulations must be assessed and used very carefully, because some formulations may result in toxicity occurring in the form of browning and yellowing of the pedicel. The post-harvest result is related to something we have touched upon earlier. It is a series of steps that begins in the cherry orchard where cherries grow and continues when the harvest window is established. Post-harvest management is obviously also part of this, with two key technologies: modified atmosphere and the cold chain, which must be used accurately. The technology that is available to us today is a considerable help. The packaging lines are more than efficient, and we're able to handle processes quickly, and this is highly beneficial in keeping the quality of the cherries exactly the same as what we had during harvest time. Cutting packaging times while keeping quality. This is the challenge that several Chilean companies have risen to, relying on European technology, especially Unitex. The Italian company has a comprehensive solution for cherries. It includes a line to empty the crates and bins, followed by cooling, water filtration and leaf removal. A patented technology is used to separate the pedicels in water through a series of blades. Once the small fruits have been eliminated, Unitex machines precisely align the cherries and then proceed with singulation and quality sorting. Each cherry is examined by ultra-high resolution cameras that can detect even the slightest blemish, including apical damage. This is particularly key in case the season has been characterized by rain and hail, which may cause defects or cracks at the base of the cherry. The technology developed by Unitec reduces waste and highlights quality fruit, with the ability to sort cherries into various categories to be allocated to a specific distribution channel. End-of-line operations may also include automated palletizing, which relieves operators of a cumbersome task and increases process efficiency. Traceability is also made possible throughout the different processing stages. Cherries are brought to our fruit delivery area. They are transported from the orchards by means of refrigerated trucks. Once we have received the fruit, our next step regards traceability, so we assign a batch to the cherries. Then the hydrocooler procedure begins, when it has not already been done in the orchard. The temperature of the fruit decreases in the hydrocooler, and when the cherries leave the machine, they are taken to the storage cells, where in less than 24 hours they go through the grading and sorting phases in the processing lines. Once the cherries reach our lines, the process we start with is separating the pedicels, so that we are left with individual products. Then, a sorting process is carried out based on color and size. At the same time, sorting also takes quality into account, which means that we remove all the fruit that has defects and that does not meet the conditions for export. Then, we move on to packaging and fill the crates until we reach the desired weight. Then, we seal the modified atmosphere packaging. The packed crates are separated and then palletized. That is, the pallet used for export is prepared. We also carry out a forced air pre-cooling process, which allows us to quickly reach a flash temperature of 0 degrees. Once this has been completed, the fruit is then transferred to the storage cells. Shortly after, the packaged cherries are shipped to our markets. Automation has been a key factor for the volumes that Garcés Fruit currently produces. Time is of the essence when processing fruit. We have to carefully consider when exactly it gets to its destination. All this would not be possible without the technology we have today. Today, sorters are essential to spot defects and sort the fruit. We have premium quality cherries and cherries whose conditions are not necessarily optimal for export. So, being able to separate these types consistently and precisely is fundamental to meet the requirements and standards that our customers have in China. With regard to the pace of our operations, we have to first of all highlight that quality is fundamental today. In order to do business properly, Macfrut Fruit operates primarily through a series of procedures and operational and control protocols, in addition to the advanced technology that all our processing plants are equipped with today. We work with European technologies, with our partner Unitec, and year after year we always keep up with the latest trends of the sector to be leaders in cherry processing. Once the sorting stage ends, an equally important one begins: packaging. This calls for solutions to maintain the quality of the cherries and ensure the fruit reaches end markets in excellent conditions. As far as packaging is concerned, Macfrut Fruit operates worldwide with different clients who have different needs. At the moment, our main export destination is China. The packages we use for this market are ready to be placed directly on the shelves, where the product is at hand for the customers. We also work with loose fruit formats, either in cardboard or plastic. Regardless of the material, packaging has to be of the best quality. The print, the durability and the format contribute to the quality of the packaging we use for our fruit, which is also of excellent quality. The presentation of our pallets, our sales unit, is fundamental in the whole sales network for this product with our clients. As I said earlier, Macfrut has a state-of-the-art processing line with an automated palletizing system, where the quality of the packaging is essential. To achieve this, we have worked and made agreements with our suppliers, particularly nationally but also internationally. We have succeeded in developing the right crates in terms of strength and size, which we can pile up to create a perfect pallet. This is also useful to streamline operations within our processing lines and improve pallets, our sales unit, making them more aesthetic, which has been highly appreciated by our clients all around the world. As part of the development of our network of national suppliers and key international partnerships, it is important to mention what we have been able to achieve together with Graziani. This is one of the European companies that allowed us to find the right product to adequately present our pallet, our sales unit, using edge boards made entirely from virgin materials, but also with materials coming from previous productions. These perform well both in cool stores and during refrigerated transport to their destination, since they are highly resistant even to humidity. This has undoubtedly allowed our sales unit to achieve the good results we have noticed upon delivery. To withstand lengthy transport, maintain the value of the goods and avoid situations like these, proper palletization is key. End-of-line processes are becoming more and more automated, with robotics supporting human work. When preparing a pallet, edge boards and straps are essential. They have been improved significantly in the last decade. Let's see how. As you may imagine, palletization is the last step of the supply chain, which starts from the production of fruit and vegetables. The produce then undergoes a sorting process, is packaged with primary packaging, followed by secondary packaging, the boxes, and the so-called tertiary packaging, which translates to straps and edge boards in this case. Palletization is an increasingly strategic action. And why is that? Because clearly cold storage and refrigerated transport are key to ensure the product reaches the end consumers and the end market. Today, all of us, all companies, are subject to inspections and certifications that are aimed at ensuring that the goods are delivered intact. They can't have any blemishes when they reach their destination. The production of edge boards and straps has improved a lot over time, with a clear interest in environmental matters. As I believe is the case for all manufacturers of packaging solutions and materials, we have done a particularly good job in Italy in keeping up with these specific projects. Whether using cardboard, plastic or wood, every packaging producer around the world has strived to make materials lighter in the last 10 years, while also using less and less raw materials and being careful to keep a number of technical and mechanical characteristics that are essential for certain purposes. In recent years, research has made remarkable progress in the development of edge boards, aiming to reduce the use of virgin raw materials and improve technical characteristics. The Chilean market particularly is a very demanding market. And why is that? Cherries are a valuable fruit, and when you're shipping products that are worth tens of dollars per kilo, it is of utmost importance that palletization ensures stability. We have developed a product specifically for this market, but now we also use it for other markets all around the world, from New Zealand to Central America. This is the so-called top line. Two other key factors in the fruit and vegetable sector are low temperatures and high humidity rates. We always say that it is very easy to produce fairly good edge boards in dry conditions compared to the final result after cold storage and refrigerated transport. And why? Because we are talking about cardboard, which is a material that is extremely sensitive to humidity. After several weeks of exposure to humidity rates of refrigerated transport, the strength of the material declines in the order of 30 to 40%, even up to 50%, depending on the raw materials used. There's also something else we think is important. 4 edge boards on a pallet with goods worth between 1,000 and 10,000 euros do not cost much. So there's really no point in skimping on these and jeopardizing the much higher value of the actual product on the pallet. In addition to studying and doing research in the lab, which has allowed us to reduce the use of raw materials by about 30%, we've also made investments on a cutting-edge plant that you can see here. The plant ensures the perfect manufacturing of edge boards, in addition to the quality level that we are looking for by means of specific raw materials. Behind us is a state-of-the-art plant, one of the few in Europe, which is fully automated and is able to guarantee the exact quality level that meets the standards we have. Automated palletizing requires products with a perfect finish. With regard to edge boards, this is extremely important. The finish has to be precise. The edge boards need to be even. In the past, a fairly durable product was used, but it was not even. Now, with automated palletizing, finishing becomes essential. And to achieve this, we have been revolutionary. Thanks to Graziani Packaging's Magic Corner, we have been able to get a product that is so thin yet strong has to be used for automated packaging. Proper palletization starts with properly placed boxes on the pallet. They have to be positioned in such a way as to distribute the load among the entire surface of the platform. You also need to ensure that there are no empty spaces between them. Once this is done, you can add the edge boards and straps. Both are essential to ensure the load on the pallet is stable and compact. The edge boards have to adhere properly to the profile of the stacked boxes. They can't be uneven or out of square. The straps are then used to fasten and compact the load. They must be tightened so as to secure the goods while avoiding damage to their quality and that of the edge boards and the boxes inside. When the pallets are then loaded onto the tracks, proper palletization guarantees optimal space management. This results in lower freight costs and reduced waste throughout the entire supply chain. Last but not least, when a pallet is delivered intact to its destination, it's less likely to cause any dispute when the goods are accepted by clients. Perhaps this is not something that everyone knows, but edge boards can be customized. This enhances recognition along the entire supply chain and gives your brand greater visibility. Our journey into the Chilean cherry supply chain has come to an end. Don't miss our next video lesson, which will focus on blueberries. To find out the topics of the next episodes and all the news about Macfrut Academy, stay in touch through Macfrut's social media channels. You'll find us on LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram. We'll see you again next time.